All right, this is Rob Lay, 1980s sports cards, and if you've watched the channel, I like to try some crazy things, like buying a sealed 1985 Topps Tiffany set for over $3,000, breaking it, getting it graded, and seeing how much money I lost. And I've done that with a lot of different boxes and sets, and this is yet another one, maybe the value-wise, the craziest one yet. So this box right here is $7,000. This is a 1985 Topps vendor box. So that's 24 vendor boxes of 500 cards each of 1985 Topps baseball. So that's 12,000 1985 Topps cards. So I bought a sealed BBCE case on eBay for $6,600, and the case was sealed, but the vendor boxes weren't. So as you know, the vendor boxes, they don't come in packs. They just come in boxes of 500 that aren't sealed, and you can go through them. So what I had to do is I took the entire sealed case, sent it back to BBCE, and because they were there to open the case and could certify it, then they were able to certify each of the 24 boxes. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm just opening the case back after BBCE sent it back to me. So bear with me a second while I get it out. It's very heavy. 12,000 cards. And each box is now BBCE certified. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little test. Today I'll just open 3 of the boxes and see. I'm curious. I've never opened a vendor box before. So my first question is, how do the quality of the cards compare to like the gum wax packs? So that's going to be the first question. So what I'll do is I'll open 3 vendor boxes, kind of give them a pre-grade and see where we are, what we can expect. And the ones that pre-grade well, I will send in PSA for grading and see what the results are. If the results are good, I'll continue with the rest of the case. If they're not good, I'll either keep them in my collection for a later time, or I can sell them. So if you monitor eBay, the vendor boxes sell really, really cheap because you can go through them. You just open it up. They're not in packs. The boxes aren't sealed from the factory. So the value is about $200 to $250 a box. If you get them BBCE certified, which means that they certify that no one's been through them, just like that, BBCE certified, then that increases the value by over $100. They sell more like from $320 to $350. So if you do the math, I paid $6,600 for the case. That's an average price per box of $275. I sent them off to BBCE to get certified, which was $300 total. So I've got about $7,000 in total. But now I have 24 vendor boxes that are BBCE certified. So here, I'll show you the case here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 3 boxes and unseal them, and let's see what the cards look like. All right, here's the 3 vendor boxes, BBCE certified, and I'm going to go through them one by one. We're going to go through them really quick, but I'll stop at the bigger cards, and we'll do a little pre-grading to get an idea what the cards are looking like. So the first thing I notice is how tight and nice they're in there. I'm not saying the corners are going to be perfect, the edges are going to be perfect. But my hope is, and from the looks of it, on average, the condition of the cards should be a little bit better than what we get in the wax packs. And then the next question will be, do we see the same variation in centering, or maybe do we get a little bit better centering out of the vendor boxes? All right, the first big card, we've got the Roger Clemens. It's obvious, a quick look, that the centering is off. It's tight to the left, tight to the bottom. I'm also noticing the surface of the initial card seems a little rough. I don't know if that's what we're going to get box to box, but for being sealed in there, they seem, I don't know if it's just dirty, dusty, or if that's the way they were put in the box 40 years ago. But yeah, this Roger Clemens, the first big card out of it, is not looking great. That's not even a gradable card, even though that's one of the biggest hits in the box. The corners, the edges actually don't look bad. They look pretty good. I'm more concerned about the surface and the centering, but let's see if that continues. Let's keep going. There we go, Mark McGwire, arguably the top card in the 85 top set. And again, we've got tight on the left and the bottom. The corners and the edges look good. I'm still concerned about the surface, is a little dusty. But there we go, another off-centered. There we go, and the Kirby Puckett. Tight bottom and left. There we go. The second Mark McGwire in the box. And unlike every other card we've pulled so far that was tight left and bottom, this one's slightly tight bottom and right. So that's strange. I think a little bit better card. But second Mark McGwire right there. All right, that was our first vendor box. And This is a new experience for me, so that's 500 cards. And honestly, I'm really happy with the pulls on it. You know, we got 2 Mark McGwires. We got just 1 Roger Clemens, but we got 2 Eric Davises, 2 Don Mattingly's, a Dwight Gooden, the record breaker, not the regular one. We got 1 Kirby Puckett. So for only 500 cards in the box, I think that's above average for the number of big cards in there. Now, the good thing is I'm seeing good corners and good edges. I'm questioning the surface a little bit, whether they can be dusted off, but they seem a little rough. But what we're consistently seeing is bad centering. Actually, out of all these cards sitting right there, there's 15 cards. Not a single one is well centered. And most of them are off-centered in the same place, which is tight left and bottom. So I'm hoping the entire case is not like that. So we're going to open up 2 more boxes here and see if maybe the whole case is off-centered the same way. But yeah, we're happy with the big cards that we're pulling, just not happy with the centering so far. So let's break into the next box. All right, so vendor box number 2, and a couple weird things compared to the first one is we didn't get as many as what you would call hits. I mean, we did get 1 Roger Clemens, 1 Dwight Gooden, no Mark McGwires, no Kirby Pucketts. So that's the first weird thing, where I'd consider this time we got 9 cards out of the 500. The first box we got 15 out of the 500. But one thing that was good with this one, especially 2 of the bigger cards, is the centering was a lot better. The Dwight Gooden and the Brett Saberhagen both have really good centering. So hopefully the whole case is not bad on the bottom and left centering. But what I'm going to do on the third box, instead of taking this one, because I just took 3 off the top, and they were probably mixed a little bit when they took them out of the sealed case and put them back in the box. But just to be sure, I'm not gonna open this one. I'm gonna go to the bottom of the box and try to get one that wasn't close to these other two to see if the centering is any different. So stay tuned and we'll get the third box opened. All right, there we go, vendor box number 3. And yeah, I can't say this centering was all that different going to the other end of the case. But we did have some nicely centered cards. You know, after that first box, I was wondering if the whole case was going to be off-centered. That's not the case, literally. But, or I guess figuratively, sorry. But, you know, I'm not sure the centering overall is as high as what comes from a typical wax box. There's more consistently off-centered in these vendor boxes, but there's still some really good cards. But I think on average, the corners and the edges are a lot better. And definitely the hit rate. I can't say they're better than the wax boxes, but I mean, look at this. Out of 500 cards in this last vendor box, there's 2 Dwight Goodens, Roger Clemens, a Mark McGwire, Don Mattingly, a Darryl Strawberry, and Eric Davis. You know, I'm not sure I've had any wax boxes that were any better than that as far as distribution. So that's definitely an upside. I'm gonna have to run the math a little bit and do some more pre-grading. I'm not sure it's worth it to break all these now certified vendor boxes and try to grade them. It may be more valuable just to hold on to them and see what the 85 tops values do overall, or just try to sell them like this, you know, current market at $300 to $350 and get some of my money back, as my cost is under $300, even with the getting them certified. So there we go, 3 vendor boxes, 21 boxes left in the case. Is it worth $7,000 or more? Probably not. But that's the fun of it. Take care.